I would like conservatives to be happy. I would like them to be happy, and here's why. Y'all are already in my fucking comments. Rev's turn to the dark side. Let me explain. So I'm seeing a lot of videos going around that are like, why are these motherfuckers still so miserable? What do they have to be miserable about? They got everything they wanted. You'd think they'd be happy. They aren't happy. They're more angry and miserable than they've ever been. And you're right. They are miserable people. Happy, fulfilled people don't act this way. And the reason they are miserable is because they continue to try to fit themselves into a very tiny box that only a very small portion of the population actually fits in, and they are pretending that very small box is God's plan. A lot of these people genuinely believe in their heart of hearts that God's plan for humanity involves a man and a woman of the same race getting married, not having intercourse before that marriage. The man is a masculine man, the woman's a feminine woman, and they have a couple kids together. Now, there are some people for whom that plan works. Like, genuinely, there are some people who are programmed that way, and that's the way they want to live their lives, and that is fine. But that amount of people is this big. Very few men have only masculine hobbies and interests. Very few women have only feminine hobbies and interests. Not everyone wants children. Obviously, there have been interracial relationships since people of different races started meeting one another. Because it is obvious that God's actual plan was to create a spectrum of diversity within life on Earth. But these, conservative Christians, they can't accept that. They have to fit in the box. And that box makes them miserable. So I've been listening to this book, Shameless, by Nadia Bolz-Weber. Highly recommended. Essentially, the plot of the book is about how we view intimacy within the Christian faith and within the church. And in this book, she talks to a couple. And this couple was raised in a very strict evangelical church. They didn't have intimacy before marriage. They got married very young. They had this expectation that they were going to have children. And it destroyed their intimacy. It destroyed their marriage. And they were resentful. They did not like each other. But then once they left the church, they started working through this stuff. And what they realized is that they kind of wanted different things in the bedroom. And they didn't want children. And that was the plan they wanted for their life. That was what made their marriage happy and successful. It's what kept the spark going between the two of them. The man accepted that he wasn't this ultra-masculine man. This woman accepted that it was not her job to keep this man satisfied in that way. And the man realized that he likes his wife as she is, not the person she's trying to be when she's trying to seduce him. So when I say the box is small, I mean it is really, really small. This is a cisgender, heterosexual couple of the same race, and they still couldn't make it work for them. So you have all of these people who think that God's plan for them is to fit in this narrow little box. And it leads to this just utter misery. And that misery turns to resentment, and that resentment turns to envy. They look at queer people. They look at interracial couples. They look at people who've decided to remain single. Or even, couples who've decided to add a little spice to the bedroom. And they say, why are those people happy? They didn't follow the rules. I followed the rules. I did everything I was supposed to do. And if I can't be happy, then they have to be more miserable than me. Because that is the only way I can conceive of this being God's plan. There's a reason that Grindr shuts down every time there's a large group of conservatives around each other. There's a reason that there's speculation right now that Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens may have had a little something going on. It's because these people cannot just accept what they actually desire, which is something outside of the norm of what is expected of them. There are men who will go out and marry, some supermodel looking woman, and they have a couple of kids, and he's expecting he's gonna have this fabulous life, and then he realizes he doesn't fucking like her. And what he actually wants is a chonky girl who makes him biscuits. And so he ends up having a fucking affair. We have women who are staying with these awful fucking men, waiting on them hand and foot, slipping deeper and deeper into fucking depression, because they're doing what they think they're supposed to do. We have people who stay together for years because they're afraid of being looked down upon for getting a fucking divorce. They have convinced themselves that God's plan for us is to suffer. And that's not what love is. And if it's not love, it's not God. So yes, I want the conservatives to be happy. I want them to break themselves out of this and pursue what they actually desire and are passionate about in life. When I say my liberation is tied to everyone else's, I mean it. And that includes theirs. Because right now, they're living in a cage. And as long as they're living in that cage, they're gonna keep making all of our lives miserable. And I need you to understand that sometimes this cage is as simple as a man asking his wife to put a finger up his butt. Like, that would solve all their marital problems. And they refuse to do even that. So no, they're not gonna be happy. Even though they're getting everything they want. Because this isn't what they actually want. This is the reaction they are having to not pursuing what they actually want.